These lighthouses are 125 feet high and were built in 1861.
The first time I went out to the island, I was very surprised at how remote it felt, even though I could still see the shore and the town of Rockport.
Thatcher Island represents the people of the town. It also represents the historic value going back to the mid-1600s.
Seeing the people come out here on the island to volunteer week after week gives me an appreciation and an affection for the place we live.
Without the Wednesday volunteers or the volunteers of the keepers, the boat crew, the docents, this island would just be in ruins.
We have what we have out here because there are good people who are willing to take chances and embarrass themselves by doing what they enjoy doing.
My name is Paul St. Germain. I'm President Emeritus of the Thacher Island Association. Our association was created to raise funds for Thacher Island. The Thacher Island Town Committee was created to manage everything that needed to get done on the island. The island had been run by the U.S. Coast Guard for at least 30 years. Eventually, the Coast Guard decided that they would open it up to the general public. The Coast Guard was trying to get rid of lighthouses, and for the last 30 years, they've been selling the lighthouses or giving them away to organizations that would agree to maintain them. We made the commitment that we would raise the money to maintain the island and fix everything up. We solarized the island, which had never been done before. We've set up 2 different launch boats that we had built specially to bring tourists out to the island. We were inhibited because we didn't have a ramp. We would come out and land on the rocks and crawl our way up, bring our tools and everything. I had known Sid Wedmore even before I met him at one of the meetings. He became my doctor. In fact, most members of the association were his patients at one time.
I am Sidney Wedmore, and my position is I walk around and make suggestions to people here. I was born rather suddenly in 1942 in Taunton, in an area that I think Huck Finn would have enjoyed it. Well, how I got to Rockport is somewhat of a variegated and peripatetic transfer around. Well, I went away 18 miles to Providence. I went to Brown. And then I went to med school in the University of Vermont in Burlington, and finally came back to Cape Ann, having met a Dr. Benoit, who was a long-standing obstetrician here. Ned Cameron was a patient of mine. Ned was both chairman of the town committee, and he instituted the Thacher Island Association, which is the fundraising and philanthropic group. He was the one who was the instigator of getting the island as part of the Principality of Rockport. Ned had a couple out here for 2 years doing keeping. Neither had seen a doctor in a while, and Ned said, "Hey, how about if you do a house call on the island?" Sure. We made a house call, examined them. They were both found fit for duty for another year or so, and that was my first exposure here. When Ned died, John Bennett and Mary Bennett took over the town committee, and after Mary and John aged out, I got involved in that aspect of it. Initially, the idea of maintaining the island was to have a keeper or a set of keepers out here. One became uncomfortable with a person on the island all the time by themselves. So we subsequently developed a alternating program with 2 couples out here. And gradually the concept developed that the more people you have on the bench for backup, the better you are able to accommodate changes in people's needs, necessities, and demands. So we set up a keeper program for usually a week at a time. The volunteer group itself, that came about because there were more requirements on the islands than a keeper set could do. Alice showed up having heard about the island and the boats. She was out here for a day, and upon leaving, one of her comments was, "This is my tribe, I want to join it."
I'm Alice Twombly. I'm a volunteer with the Thatcher Island Association and also one of the captains. My role has been as just a volunteer going out to the islands and working on Wednesdays, doing everything from painting, mowing lawns, fixing small engines, and I help run the boats. I first learned about Thacher Island from a friend of mine, James Kennedy, who was also a volunteer, and he invited me out to come out and camp on Thacher Island. Started volunteering right then, my very first day that I was there, and I have not looked back since. I think I've found my tribe here. I really enjoy being a part of this volunteer community. The job that they're doing at the moment may not be something that they're trained in. They seem to step up and they love to learn and work hard. I think that historically, the lighthouses were a lot more important years ago than they are right now. And these lighthouses out here in Rockport, they were very, very important, and I think that that's important for the community to know. When I have Rockport townspeople come out, that I like to give them more of a tour than I might give just to out-of-town tourists. I want them to know what they have so that they can help preserve it. Yeah, I think it's been really important that we've had professional contractors working on our projects. The things that we learn from them and the way they lead us is really, very effective.
Paul Sainer has met a huge need on the island. His background was starting off as a laborer and working his way up through different supervisory levels at Modern Continental that helped build the Big Dig in Boston. So he has experience in working with people, getting projects done, and he comes with his own Italian personality that's just delightful to bounce off of.
My name is Paul Sainer. I am with the Thacher Straitsmouth Town Committee for the town of Rockport. I am the vice chair on the committee. I remember the meeting with Sid and Paul. It was an interview that, till this day, I can remember. They were more concerned if we were going out there as a vacation versus a work project. The work crew, volunteers, the keepers, all come from different careers, backgrounds, professions. The Wednesday work crew, we all work together. It's a great team. Some come with a little bit of backyard mechanics. Some come with basement carpentry. But after a year or two here, all these volunteers have enhanced all their skills. They've become professionals out here.
Sid Wedmore says it's like grown men in their own sandbox. Most of the people that volunteer like it because it gives them something to do that's different than, mowing the lawn.
I've had neighbors come out to Thacher Island and experience the work crew working out there, and they cannot believe that everybody's out there working. They're all volunteers, and our only pay is donuts. Everybody wants their donut at coffee time. That's the pride, is go for the donut.
It makes me proud of the people we have here on Cape Ann, and I don't think they're much different than people elsewhere. We just have a better chance of showing it here. Why does working and preserving Thatcher Island matter? If one stops and just looks about, you cannot have an appreciation for they who came before us. They're the ones who put this in place in difficult circumstances for a very meaningful purpose, trying to keep people and ships off the rocks.
You know, most of us are in our 70s and 80s. We're not going to be around a lot longer. So we're developing a strategy of governance and how do you go and attract younger people.
I'm a firm believer in history and preserving the history, and I believe the next generation is the ones that will continue to go.
The history of it is important to hang on to so that we don't just think of it as a tourist community. You know, when you saw that lighthouse, you knew it meant business. It was there for a reason.
Take note when you're coming out of Rockport and you're between the Gap and Straitsmouth Island. That's when you get your first view of the two towers of the Twin Lights. You have to be near dead emotionally not to be spellbound when you see it.
I think people just like the idea. They like the boat ride. They like to go out to the island. They just like a lot of things about it. Thatcher Island itself has given me a direction.
Retiring shouldn't be a stoppage in a waiting for death to ensue. Retirement is more of the opportunity to simply change earlier decisions for the person you've become and to take on the ability, the challenge, and the opportunity to let that person run again.